So I'm currently stuck in an endless cycle of rewrites following rewrites on 3 entirely separate commentaries. So I want to cover something for this commentary that is straightforward and lighthearted. But before we get to that,
PlayAsia is your source for merchandise, figures, and video games. Go there and pre-order Persona 5, because we both know you're gonna fucking buy it. So why not help a nigga out and buy it through my goddamn affiliate link? PlayAsia. We got games from the West, but all our customers are fucking limp dick weebs. Link in the description.
I'm glad I did that in one take. With the plug done, let's cover some anti-Trump political adverts featured in this Heat Street article. As I've said previously, I don't like Trump, I don't support Trump, and I won't be voting for Trump in the fall. That said, I won't be voting for Hillary either, but I am interested in seeing how she counters Trump's campaign. Everything that I've seen so far is pretty much just a mirrored version of what she did back in 2008, where her every critic was a sexist, and their every criticism was something specific to women and not her as an individual. Most of you will catch on rather quickly as to how this works if, let's say, rather than blame myself for crashing my own vehicle, I blame the accident on my upbringing. My father never taught me the value and responsibility of ownership. My mother never taught me how to drive properly. My siblings encouraged me to be reckless in order to receive attention. All of those things could be true, but pointing them out publicly only gives me the appearance of running from my own mistakes. 2, each of these excuses are flawed, and while they might even be true, they don't excuse my actions legally or otherwise. Owning a vehicle is between you and the dealer, but driving it is permitted by the state. Now, I'm certain that, any anarchists listening to this will get their panties in a twist about the fascist institutions of licensing and registration and inspection and insurance coverage, but your upbringing doesn't mean shit to the state. You are legally culpable for your actions on the road and behind the wheel of a vehicle, so whatever bullshit you cook up to spread the blame is just you trying to create a shell game where none exists. In that same way, even if the criticisms of Clinton were somehow sexist, it doesn't make them in any way unjustified or untrue, because they're always in reference to a sole individual, Hillary Clinton. Moreover, and this is number 3, if I said Hillary Clinton is a cunt because X, Y, and Z, mainstream journalists would turn and say, well, you just used a gendered slur, ergo everything else following that isn't a valid criticism. Retards in my own comment section would say something similar, except they would ignorantly misattribute an ad hominem fallacy. The fact is that the first half of that statement is merely an opinion, but the second half is the actual argument. Formality, or the lack thereof, is not a fucking argument. The reasons for holding the opinion is the argument. So let's cover this video by a right-wing group ironically named Our Principles PAC. Establishment Republicans have no principles. Blue Dog or third-way Democrats are equally as superficial. But let's just watch the video.
Bimbo.
Dog. Fat pig.
Real quotes from Donald Trump about women.
So the first problem we have is quoting out of context. If any person heard a small segment of what I've said about the left, they would likely attribute to some right-wing guy on YouTube. Even my biggest critics can't escape the stark fact that I'm on the left. Not that they really argue much other than, oh, your personality is just so loud and mean, as if that's supposed to be something I should even consider, other than just, the whining of limp-wristed betas.
A person who is very flat-chested is very hard to be a 10.
All right, well, I'm sure a decent amount of you guys out there, may actually agree with what Trump said there, but, I'm certain that there are plenty of men out there that are perfectly satisfied by women that are so flat-chested that they're, two-dimensional.
I'd look her right in that fat, ugly face of hers.
Look at that face. Would anyone vote for that?
He's giving commentary on beauty standards, which, has always been true in politics. People like good-looking people. Washington, despite his looks, still appeared stately. JFK was charming, but it was his ex that made him a statesman. Looks are superficial by the very definition of talking about someone's appearance. But, we've had drunken presidents, indebted presidents, violent presidents, fat presidents, crippled presidents, and presidents that died in office. It seems to me that the people that point to the superficial as an argument, either way, are themselves superficial. Donald Trump is not particularly good looking. Neither is Hillary Clinton, and Bernie Sanders is often mocked about his appearance. Fortunately for Bernie, and unlike Trump, his strength is deflecting bullshit on appearance. That's what makes gags on his superficiality especially funny, because Bernie doesn't give a shit about what he looks like or what someone else looks like. Which, by the way, is very Socratic. Socrates didn't give a shit about his or anyone else's appearance, and that only served to strengthen him as an individual.
She had the height, she had the beauty. She was crazy, but these are minor details.
No one has ever been a more scathing critic of Princess Diana than Christopher Hitchens. And, every point he's made was done so with unparalleled wit. You guys are really barking up the wrong tree on this one.
Mr. Hitchens.
Well, look, it's, you can't argue with or quarrel with faith, and you can't tell someone who's in love that they're not. These things are unquantifiable. People who believe that she did a lot and contributed a lot and made a difference and so on are obviously stuck with that belief. I don't think I know of a single celebrity who doesn't have a signature charity, for example. I mean, it's part of being a celebrity. You do your charity work. With some celebrities, it looks more like an accessory than it does with others. With her, it didn't look like an accessory. I mean, she could go from being the woman who did the gold-digging divorce settlement, in which she asked, among other things, for a private plane and got 2 palaces and £600 million in cash, to one photo op in Angola, and people would remember the photo op in Angola. Now, her dowdy, boring former sister-in-law, Princess Anne, who's been the patron of the Save the Children Fund for, I think, 25 years now, goes trudging around Africa, looking like a fright in her boots and so on, up to here in mud and so on, all the time, covered in flies and so on, doing the Save the Children. No one cares. No one bothers to send a camera after her. She's not photogenic, for one thing. She's a boring frump. But she really is a spade-work charity worker. The fact is, nobody can really tell you what Princess Diana actually did, but if they believe that she did it, in a sense, she did do.
I like kids. I mean, I won't do anything to take care of them. I'll supply funds, and she'll take care of the kids.
Said the career-driven businessman and presidential candidate with a trophy wife. Rude and insensitive, sure, but, more than one woman that I know in my area works in upper management or owns multiple businesses. Guess how much time those women spend with their kids compared to someone like my mother? A lot less, because they're career-driven. I'm sorry, but do Republicans even agree with this? Are there seriously Republicans out there arguing that pursuing your own goals shouldn't come before being a family man? The party of get rich, fuck the poor, and taxation is theft is honestly trying to sway me into thinking that they in any way give a shit about Donald Trump being a selfish billionaire. Fucking spare me.
It really doesn't matter what they write, as long as you've got a young and beautiful piece of
The question is if she's Japanese.
That must be a pretty picture, you dropping to your knees.
Yeah, fuck fellatio, said no man ever in the history of time. Second off, are we really going to try and make this about licentiousness? Bill Clinton was a womanizer. JFK was a womanizer. Ben Franklin was a womanizer. Where is the right wing even coming from on this? Oh, okay, right there. Well, all right, then whatever. Sex is bad because more collectivist morality.
There was blood coming out of her eyes. Blood coming out of her wherever.
Women, you have to treat them like
Unless you want her to be your waifu, except in the case that she's a tsundere, and then maybe she just wants you to be aggressive with her.
This is how Donald Trump talks about our mothers, our sisters,
our daughters.
God damn it, Trump! Don't you ever talk about my mother like that! I know every one of those quotes cited my mother by name, and I won't have it!
Okay, so with that done, let's pivot to this awful ad by the Hillary Clinton campaign.
I am a unifier. We're going to be a unified party.
He is a con artist.
A phony.
Donald Trump is the know-nothing candidate.
Okay, so let's take a look at who's making these comments so far. The establishment guy who lost his own state to Trump. the establishment guy who lost badly to Obama in 2012, and the former governor of New York, whose political career is deader than Elliot Spitzer's. Who is this ad supposed to sway? None of these fuckers are popular on the right or the left.
Donald is a bully. This is an individual who mocked a disabled reporter.
I don't remember.
Who attributed a reporter's questions to her menstrual cycle.
Blood coming out of her wherever.
The most vulgar person to ever aspire to the presidency.
No one cares but the Beltway media. No one supporting Trump or even Bernie Sanders should fucking care. They're the anti-establishment candidates.
The man who seems to only feel big when he's trying to make other people look small.
Don't worry about it, little Marco.
Gentlemen, the man is utterly amoral.
The sign of deep insecurity and weakness.
The bullying, the greed, the showing off.
I'm sorry, Mitt Romney. What? What the fuck are you saying? He's a bully? He's greedy? Motherfucker, you deal with private equity and leveraged debt for a living. You are the literal definition of a venture capitalist. You're a professional predator. Okay, we're done with this one. Fuck the rest of it. Is it not obvious why this ad doesn't work? You have figures less liked and less popular than Trump giving opinions of Trump. Who is this ad for? Who is convinced by this? So we're going to skip this shorter ad because it's boring and about abortion, which, already is whatever. Abortion is the hill the right wants to die on. Let them do it. I'll just be here being more principled than most libertarians and right-wingers that claim to be individualists, except in the numerous cases where the individual doesn't come before collectivist morality. Sorry, Ein, you got them parroting taxation being theft, but they still need government to enforce their morality. Anyways, we'll finish on another pro-Clinton super PAC advert attacking Trump using completely out-of-context quotes.
You could see there was blood coming out of her eyes, blood coming out of her wherever.
So we've already heard this quote, and if I recall correctly, this was specifically about Megyn Kelly, a right-wing commentator on Fox News. Again, who is this supposed to be swaying that doesn't already dislike Trump? If you like Trump, is him insulting Megyn Kelly going to turn you away from him and towards Clinton? I sincerely fucking doubt it.
Does she have a good body? No. Does she have a fat ass? Absolutely.
You like girls that are 5'1", they come up to you know where.
Just out of context vulgarity. This is just noise.
If Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
Before I comment, what is this image implying? What is your takeaway from seeing this exact image with an out-of-context quote from Trump? Was it a joke? Perhaps, or perhaps there's a creepy element to it. But is this the context of the quote? Was Donald Trump making a comment about his daughter when she was this young? Or is this total fucking slander by implying that Donald Trump would have raped a little girl had it not been for the fact that it was his own daughter? Because this image ever so coincidentally features a father and daughter, unlike the other images that are just random people. Very subtle, Priorities USA, not at all an obvious attempt at slandering someone that your supporters already dislike. The question stands, who are these fucking ads targeting? What are the demographics of the target audience?
I view a person who's flat-chested is very hard to be a 10.
I already covered this. It's a matter of attraction. I'm not attracted to men. Oh, how discriminatory of me.
And you can tell them to go themselves.
And this quote is just a brazen, out-of-context lie.
We're going to bring businesses back. We're going to have businesses. We're going to have businesses that used to be in New Hampshire that are now in Mexico come back to New Hampshire, and you can tell them to go themselves because they let you down and they left. We want the businesses that stayed.
In the video, he doesn't actually say tell them to go fuck themselves. He just mouths the word. He censored himself, so there's no reason to even bleep him, because he never said fuck. It's just dishonest. However, I want you to think about this. I think he should have said it. Because think about what kind of response Bernie Sanders would get if he was in the middle of a passionate speech where he said Hillary Clinton cuddled up to Wall Street while I told them to go fuck themselves. He would receive a standing ovation. He would sell more shirts with that quote on it in a month than the WWE sells shirts in a fucking year. So that's really all there is to this commentary. Defending Trump is easy when this is the kind of bullshit being leveled at him. Pointing out that he said mean and vulgar bullshit isn't swaying anyone that doesn't already dislike him. Oh, well, Trump doesn't poll well with women. Fucking Hillary doesn't poll well with men. I mean, just read this fucking moronic article in Fortune that tries to make the case that Hillary does well with men when she doesn't even beat Sanders. And a ridiculous amount of men within the Democratic Party lean Trump. What the fuck does this article accomplish? In college, I wrote an entire research paper on the demographics of the Democratic Party that was actually later published in 2 political science journals that points to the fact that the problem in the Democratic Party is men. The majority of the party is already women, you fucking retards. You need more men in order to win. You can't just expect liberal men to vote for you when all you do is pander to women, the existing demographic that you already have. This is honestly one of the reasons that I can't stand Obama, because as the head of the party, his inaction is costing the left millions of votes that would otherwise be there. If the Democratic Party pivoted to win over white men while retaining blacks, Asians, Latinos, Jews, women, and all the other demographics that massively skew Democratic, we'd live in a single-party fucking system. Because you would control every demographic needed to win every fucking election cycle. But, that's it for me. All right? Follow the affiliate link in the description and buy something, or I'm creating a political ad calling you all misogynists.